by allying with the coalition forces, would have put their lives on the line. Just this week, another governor was assassinated by the Taliban who had associated with the ISAF forces. And so we're not going to, I have faith in the President that we will not abandon the people of Afghanistan. And what we're working for is what I mentioned in the beginning, and that is enabling the Afghan Army and the Afghan police to provide the security, and then we would be mentoring, we'd be backup, we would be out of the actual combat itself because of the capabilities. And I've had the extraordinary opportunity to meet several times with Abdul Wardak, the Minister of Defense of Afghanistan. He's a former Mujahideen himself, an anti-Soviet guerrilla. We're talking about people who are really capable.
The Congressman will be with us until the bottom of the hour, 45 minutes in total, and we welcome your participation in our discussion. You can call us, and the phone numbers are 202-737-0001. For Republicans in the audience, for Democrats, 202-737-0002, and our line for independents, 202-628-0205. You can send us a Twitter message. You can tweet us at C-SPAN-WJ, and also we have our email address. You can send a comment that way as well. I have a couple of other issues before we go to calls. First of all, the South Carolina Senate election, the Democratic Senate primary has been getting a great deal of attention. Allegations by Mr. Clyburn that the Republican Party in the state was somehow involved in shenanigans. Tell us what you know about all that.
Well, I know the Republicans were focused on the Republican primary. Last Tuesday, I'm very, very grateful. 2 years ago, with same opponent, received 44,000 votes. Last week, in the privacy of the booth, I received 65,000 votes. Actually, the New York Times correctly reported that we had 425,000 people vote in the Republican primary and only 188,000 in the Democratic primary. And so we Republicans were focused on our primaries, and I had a double focus. My oldest son, Alan, is running for Attorney General of South Carolina, and he came in first in the primary. And in fact, he'll be in a runoff this coming Tuesday. And so our family has been focused on Republican primaries.
Your family has. Do you see any credibility to Mr. Clyburn's claims of the party, a Republican Party, being involved in the election?
No, and actually, the whole focus, we've had an extraordinary race for governor. The leading candidate is a longtime friend of mine. And there were 4 candidates, and we all had extraordinary, but the leading candidate is could be the first female governor of South Carolina. She will be the second Indian American governor of the United States. I campaigned for Bobby Jindal in Louisiana, and now we have a real opportunity in South Carolina. But that runoff is on Tuesday, and a very capable person, U.S. Congressman Gresham Barrett, is also running. So we have the focus has been on the Republican primaries, and I respect certainly other people's view of this, but it's wrong. Republicans are focused on our primaries, and that's why I was so grateful for the huge vote of confidence that I got last week, the largest vote total of any Republican congressional primary candidate in the history of South Carolina. So our focus has been fully on Republican primaries, not Democratic.
Well, let me follow up on the message that voters sent you in the primary. This is your first visit since the State of the Union,
yes,
when
yes.
Lots of discussion about
Yes.
this. Wanted to, because I know people will call and ask. So tell us about that, what that experience has been like for you, and whether or not your political life has changed as a result of it.
It really has, and it was the health care speech of 9909.
Thank you.
And the next day my son called, and I, of course, called that night to Rahm Emanuel, and I said, I apologize, I would never interrupt the president. That was a spontaneous event. In fact, my son Alan called the next day and said, Dad, I know what happened. And I said, what was it? He said, it was a town hall moment. And, but the people have, and I've always felt, as I went around the district, at parades, at festivals, at events, I've received extraordinary support and encouragement. But the ultimate, and I've received over 500,000 emails, letters from people all over the United States, and actually over Americans abroad. I'm the co-chair of the Americans Abroad Caucus, so I've received emails and letters from all over the world understanding that I am a gentleman, that I apologized, and that we went on to discuss the issue, which was the healthcare takeover. But the ultimate is what I told you last Tuesday. In the privacy of the booth, the people of South Carolina spoke, and I had virtually a 50% increase in support from 44,000 to 65,000 with the same opponent, the largest vote ever of a Republican congressional candidate in the history of South Carolina, and we are in the middle in our state of a revolt against incumbents, and I understand that, and but I still prevail with 83% of the vote.
All right, and one last issue before we go to calls on Afghanistan policy. We're going to be spending most of our morning today talking about the Gulf oil disaster.
Oh, and so I represent Hilton Head Island, the coast of South Carolina, Beaufort County, Fripp Island, Hunting Island. I've got beautiful island locations. I grew up in Charleston, adjacent to the beautiful beaches of Charleston, just south of Myrtle Beach, the Grand Strand, and so I know how important our beaches, the hospitality industry is, and so I also know the environment, and the marsh is very important to me. I grew up on the marshes of South Carolina, and the oil, the catastrophic effect on fiddler crabs or the small life there, it breaks your heart.
Have you had any reconsideration of drilling policy as a result of this?
It's not reconsideration, but I certainly, I mean, it was just, I believe there should be a cutoff valve on any drilling facility, whether it be in the ocean or on the ground, on land, and there must be a fail-safe cutoff system and with a valve. And this is not rocket science. We know, in fact, I'm working with people promoting a